Good morning, Vietnam. That's a good question, by the way. So we have an odd number of robots, and this is a Swiss tournament, which means each round, all the winners from the previous round will fight all the losers. So I'm not quite sure what that's going to do with the bots that miss a fight 1 week, because there are going to be 6 bots that miss a fight 1 week, because we have an odd number. So I don't know if those bots are going to end up fighting each other in a secret special 7th week. That's possible. There is an even number of them, so we could do something like that. Or they might all get buys. I really don't want that to happen. I'd like everyone to fight someone. So I'm gonna try to do something like the 7th week extra fights for the people who miss a fight 1 week. So good question, Alex. I believe that's what's happening. But yeah, you're just gonna miss a fight this week. I don't know who else is. So anyway, let's go through this. And I've tried to do this a couple times, and as I keep up a good pace for the early robots, and then by the time I get to the end, it's like I'm going really slow, and it's like, oh, there's this bot, it is these stats, who cares? So I'm gonna try to actually get through all of this, and we'll see what happens. These won't be useful as wedges, right, because that speed to traction, but I don't know, it's experimental design. I like experiments. I think it could be okay anyway. It's got quite a lot of power. I love the shape. It looks really cool. I also like these little wedgelets up front. Those will be low based on the rules, so that should be good. The master. So I could talk about my bots. Well, I think that's probably going to be a different video, because I'm just that much of a narcissist. I could talk about these bots forever. Yeah, I'm not going to put anything here. Let's just keep going. The People's Champ. Someone pointed out that the wheels don't touch the floor if it gets lifted. That's an interesting point. I hadn't noticed that. It did win a championship without that. It is worth noting that the overall effect of being able to do that is small. Like, there are many matchups where it doesn't matter. But I do think that is a little something that could hurt it against some wedges. I don't know what there really isn't that much difference between these two wedges in terms of making a difference. It's green, but is environmental. I think we can all agree that Donald Hudson got mercilessly screwed over in both seasons of the new BattleBots. And, man, it was really cathartic, though, seeing Brutus just get completely destroyed by Tombstone. That felt good. Not gonna lie, I was pitching a semi. Doomerang. I think the problem with Melties is that the writers are just inherently skeptical of Melties. It's just always a huge risk. You know, this design hasn't really had any breakthroughs in the past. I think if we saw a real-life Melty do really well, then, you know, writers would start writing these things, winning things, but you know, I think combating that writer skepticism is going to be the main issue for this guy. Right, so this has magnetic tracks, which is why it's able to have this long range. I don't know how well that's going to work, though, because he hasn't actually said how much power the magnets get. You got to power them in order to get away with this. So that's something to think about. And this one doesn't have magnets at all, and there's nothing propping the front. So this one is just going to bowl over, I guess, when it tries to lift things. You got yourself a remote bot. It's got the button for, you know, attacking, a button for self-righting. There's even an example robot to attack that it's got here. And then there's the rewind button for after the fight goes horribly wrong. You rewind to before that happened. This wedge is an interesting idea. That's an interesting shape. Kind of a risk, isn't it? Because the floor's got stuff on it. And when you put this much surface area on a wedge... I mean, the rules don't say anything about that. It could be fine. You know, it's something to think about, but I think that yeah, this type of wedge will probably be very useful against a lot of designs. This, I don't think, will be very useful. Source, it's other fights. I can't believe it's not barrier. I can't believe it's not barrier. Well, clearly that is barrier. Now what someone needs to enter is, I can't believe it's not barrier. Kind of surprised he entered Craze. I wasn't expecting that. Solid. The John Deere-ified version of Green Hornet. Actually, you know what it looks like? It looks like the Metropolis Zone from Sonic 2. Which makes sense, because Josh has Robotnik avatars and stuff. Meta Ridley, yeah. Meta Ridley, yeah. The Steve Out section is good. I don't know about the usefulness of this tail. It's, if it were lower, I think maybe it could ensnare things better. So this bot confuses me, because it's got 4 wheels in all of these, and then 2 wheels here, but these wheels look like they go all the way through. I don't know what the deal, if he forgot to turn the layer on with his wheels. I don't know, because I feel like Captain Picard being tortured by Cardassians looking at this. Like, there are 4 wheels. Alright, that's for literally one of you. Swirly. Beta. So, this is a good bot. This looks like a really good bot to me. These wedges will be useless, though. There's no point having that. It's funny how the metagame changed like that, right? You want your wheels to be as exposed as possible now. Because if you think about it, these aren't really protecting anything. The armor is so low that anything that hits these is just going to crumple the armor into the wheel, and the wheel's useless anyway. But if you have nothing around the wheel, then if people lift you, push you around, you know, it's easier to wiggle away. The wheel's touching the floor in more situations, and so that's what you want. So that's going to be an issue with this, but other than that, I think it's great, actually. I think this is a really great design. Axes are probably good right now. I really like this drawing. That's a great drawing. It's going the wrong way, but that could be okay in this arena, because it is a Robot Warsy sort of arena. Oh, God, the color scheme. My eyes. Why do you do this? It hurts. I mean, it's a good robot. Definitely. It's got all these different things for different situations. That's going to be a pain. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with the speed, traction on this. I think that's exactly what vertical spinners need to do. Weapon is a little bit of a risk. It's a little bit of a risk. But you've got all this other stuff that you're doing too. You've got these other gimmicks, so that might work out. Quad the something. Not Schnee Machine. Not PP3D. A different Steve Out. A very hazardous one. I feel like, you know, the wheel thing, again, you know, there's not much benefit from putting the wheels inside the body like that. Having them more exposed so that you get pushed around, etc., etc. I know that with a Steve Out, it doesn't necessarily matter so much, because you got this giant disc here, and so you can't push it around without touching this I don't know, it would be okay. It's a good weapon score. I don't know if he gets anything from having the two different types of flippers. I guess Alex, if he really wanted to enter both types, and he didn't have enough spots on his team, so he made a cluster, which is interesting. And I think this could do well. You know, the speed's kind of but it is a cluster. So we'll see. Well, that's it. That's it. We can just go ahead and suspend the tournament because we already have a winner. In fact, all future tournaments after this are suspended at this point because everything's been done now. The Arc metagame has finally finished. This is the end game, in fact. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think it's pretty good. The wheels on the back. So all the stuff I talked about with getting pushed around, those wheels benefit from that. They're not on the side, though. Big old blade. Should be good. 14. Going for the 514. So yeah, there are two different ways to go about spinners, right? You can either do 5 and 14. 5 speed, 14 weapon. And I think if you're going as low as 5 speed, you need to have 14 weapon. Or you could do a bit more speed than that. You could do 6 or 7 speed and then do 13. Those are like those are like your two options. And if you go lower than that, you need a really good reason to go lower than that. Like your bot does other stuff. What are these teeth doing? Nothing. They're doing nothing. Why are the wheels like this? Why are there openings here for the wheels? What's the point of that? I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical about some things, like the gaps here that horizontal spinners can hit. You know, the overhangs. The overhangs, I don't know. It's also only 12. And unlike Endless Clowns, it doesn't do anything else. It's all about the weapon. So we'll see. Hoarfrost. It should be pretty obvious to people what this is and what it does. Yeah. Yeah. Looks pretty good. That's going to be a pain. That's going to be a pain as well. This is... Obviously, I made another video complaining about exactly this. One weapon. And the only weakness that this sort of bot really has is that if it gets flipped, it's going to take a really long time for it to... You know, get that lifter back over. But other than that, I mean, the wheels are good. That's just good. It's a good robot. This bores me so much, I'm not even going to talk about it. So remember what I said about speed and weapon. 5 and 13. I think you need to be a little more ambitious than that. But I don't know. Does this shoot out? Does this extend out? I don't know if this actually moves. I don't know how this clamp works. I know that this comes down, obviously, but I don't know if this, like, moves back and forth, if it's like a probot thing. I don't know. So, I had a look at some of these stats beforehand, and I noticed that this had a ceramic originally, which took a point out of that. You will be very glad that you got rid of that. You will be very glad that you got rid of that. It wasn't going to do well. Now it should be okay without that. Yeah, you don't want to waste points on a ceramic. Why would you waste points? It's invertible. What the heck? It's got a lot of armor. I don't know if there's I haven't looked at this album here. I don't know if there's an attachment for spinners, like, to keep it from being a bunch of corners. Maybe there's an attachment. Tombstone. So this one confused me at first. I thought, oh, yeah, ball lightning. Cool, it's Ziggo. That's pretty cool. And then I looked, wait a minute. Oh, ball lightning is his middleweight, and the storm is the lightweight, and he hasn't posted it yet. And then I realized, oh, these are both the lightweight. It's it's a two-part, it's a cluster bot with a spinning section and a flipping section. which is really unusual. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. That ain't gonna do nothing. That's gonna do nothing. 8 is no good. See all these other points here? See all these other points here? You've got this guy. He can move around. This guy doesn't need to move around. Just take all those points. Just take all of this and put it here. Just put it all here. Why not? Why not? Have this just be like a hazard in the arena, and this guy scoops things up and brings them over. Here you go. Here's death. Just feeds it to the death. That's what you should do. It's ambitious. It's risky. I think you need to be. I think you need to be. I think that that would work really well, though. And now I'm kind of tempted to try that. This is just annoying. Why bother having different robots at all when one robot can just be everything? That's just... Look at this. Armor 7, but 17 in plow form. Can you even do that? I don't know if you can even do that. Massimo. A robot dedicated to Massimov. I like it, actually. Although, that's a little slow for a vert. Yeah, shell spinner. Yeah. Shell spinners can be slow. That's another thing. When you're protected on all sides, you're not going to get outflanked. So there is that. And they just bounce off the wall. So the problem with shell spinners, of course, is self-righting. It's going to flop around for a while before it gets back over. And that's precious, valuable time in a judge's decision. Which is why it's like I shy away from entering things like microwave and influenza now, because I just worry that they'll get flipped too easily. It seems like robots get flipped all the time now. So I feel like non-invertible spinners maybe aren't... They can still make the playoffs, definitely. But I don't know that they're champion designs anymore. Unless there's like really broken stats they can take advantage of. Minotaur. This looks great. This looks really good. Yeah, that's Minotaur. Power on this. It's gonna be a pain. It's slow, but again, you do the 514 thing. That works. Pain. That's gonna cause a lot of pain. I like it. I feel like I'm looking at an Escher diagram here. It looks like my brain thinks this is going inwards, downwards. It's weird. And I had to look at it a few times, like, this is the thinner end of the robot, and it has the wheels, and this is the thicker end, and it doesn't have wheels. That's really breaking my brain. I get why he's done it, though. I get why he's done it. He wants to... This is going to be the low side, so, like, fighting wedges will try to go under this way, and... That's an interesting design, it'll probably do alright. I feel like the thick part of the bot should be this part, though. I don't know about this. Part with the wheels should be the thick part. It's just interfering with my OCD. Okay, so Monsterworks. Monsterworks. This guy is very ambitious, and he makes his bots like he's got something to prove. Makes his bots like he's got something to prove. And every single one of them is some kind of crazy death fortress. This is like the most normal robot he's ever entered. And that is like literally just a normal thwack. And then we've got this sort of thing. It's got one weapon. How does that work? So it's self-right, upper arm, punching bar, just a slipper, teeth go through, just a flipper, a big ass. I'm still wrapping my head around this. Give me some time. Maybe I'll come back and do another video later and talk about this. I'm just still wrapping my head around it, I guess. Like, I get it, it's like a Venus flight, you know, rah, it's like a Venus flytrap, but, with one weapon for all of this. Unless it connects to the wheels some way? I don't know. And that's like a clutch. I'll go back and look at it later. And this does exactly the same thing, but with 12 weapon, and it's all about like the weapon and doing damage and power. So I think this one's better. I think that with 12, then this becomes kind of a scary axe. And this is like, if you see the other view of this, this is literally the same as this. It's just this is a hammer. It's designed to do damage. And I think that this actually could do pretty well. I think that this is, you know, I really don't have much faith in horizontal clampers, but just the hammer itself, yeah, totally. I guess you could take them off, I don't know. Dusted up, destroyed electronics. It looks like this flipper goes through the front of the robot. Is anyone else seeing this? Am I the only one seeing it? Like, how can it fire when the robot is stopping it from... I don't understand. Aw, the little fire engine that could. Drum. Does drum things. Correct wheels. Correct. Not on the sides, though. Gotta be on the sides, too. Gotta do all of that. And this just does everything right. This just does everything right. This will be really good and really annoying. Oh, fuck you. Blue. That's also blue. And that is PP3D. I don't care what you say. That's PP3D. I think if PP3D were just a little bit more stable, could have been pretty interesting. Oh well. Pookie! With the invisible power system. Well, this one is it's been fixed now. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really annoying. It is gonna die from its weapon. I have to look up how quickly it'll die. It's a 7-point split, so probably very quickly. So if you can survive, you know, a few hits from it, then you win. If you can't take that hit, and it is a 17-point hit, if you can't take that hit, then you lose. So there you go. That is what that robot will do. That is what it will be. Because nothing's getting around that blade, that's for sure. Wolven. Wolfies. So everything will get under these. I forget if he said that these were hinged. Yeah, okay, yeah, they are hinged. Never mind. They will work then. Because he originally said that they weren't hinged, that they were static. And with 4 wheels, not bueno. But if they're hinged, then it's, you know, a wedge. And there you go. Spike will do nothing. Drum. Another drum. Alex was telling me, Siphai was telling me that he thinks drums are really good right now. Which is why he entered one. And like he was wondering if why other people weren't entering drums, or like what the deal is, why drums weren't winning all the time. But I mean, it looks to me like there are quite a lot of drums in this tournament, so. Alright, let's finish this off. So, I like this team. I do. I do. You've won me over. I agree. I agree with all of this. Maybe the least with this. Maybe the least with this. Like this gap here. This is really cool. I love this. That's cool. My tank is fight. That's the impression I get when I see this. Even with the little sight on it, that's just... The only flaw... Well, one major one is that you want your hammer to actually kind of go past the robot a little bit when it swings, because then it just runs into the robot when it misses. It's a tiny thing. It's a tiny thing. Still, I love the renders. I really do like those robots a lot. That's long. Oh, it's like a tongue. It's like a tongue. That looks pretty cool. It's not the most stable design, but yeah, I kind of like the catamarans. I think if you had a catamaran, but you had like longer things here to stabilize it, that could work really well. Yeah, flipper, sure. Playzooki. I am very surprised that he ended up actually entering. And he has entered a very diverse array of bots that we've never seen before, other than all the tournaments that he's entered them. Stats are even the same too. Dead, March or Die. March or Die could do pretty well. Service crew. Dead is pretty much the same deal as Pookie, right? It's pretty much the same. It'll be a little bit more durable. It'll be a little bit more durable because this is 5. That's a 5 difference instead of 7. So it's anyway. Dr. P. This is one of the funkier versions of Dr. P that I've seen. There's a lot going on. And I only just like saw it, so I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it. I haven't put the same thought into it that I have into the others. You put thought into those other ones? Those reviews were shit, Nick. Well, whatever. Again, the axe thing, it's gonna hit the body. Lifter, pretty low. I guess he can take those teeth off depending on how he feels about the matchup. Yeah, teeth on wedge are removable. Alex always does his wheels exactly right. You'll notice that. And again, here too. And here too. He knows. Alex likes drums. And here's his drum. His new bot. Yeah. It's logical. Logical enough. Sneak Machine. Sneak Machine has come so close. So many times. Never quite finished off. Will it do it this time?